What's going on, Nitro gang? This is a vintage early 2000s Smartech. It's a 1/10 scale Nitro touring car. It is probably my favorite segment in the entire RC hobby. Nitro World Order. Nitro World Order. Now this recording is coming to you from the roof of a 2004 Lincoln LSV8. I don't know how many more of these there are still on the road. So I'm going to use every opportunity to put Nitros and Lincolns into one sickening video together. Now let me just say, I got this one a while ago. I don't think I ever really did a full video on it. I do not have the original body. We have a .15 Smartech SMT engine with the original tuned pipe. Now there's a lot of good things about this chassis. There's also some really bad things. I'm going to be doing a test drive on this thing today. Really never did a full video. This one took me a little while to repair because of course it's old. The throttle servo was bad, but let's talk about the parts that it has right now, what's wrong with it, and maybe some of the things that are good. And then I will fire this up and run it down the damn sickening street. Just gotta be careful. Sometimes there's some Nitro haters out there in cars that try to chase you down and try to drive over you. Let's hope, let's pray that never happens to anyone else in the Nitro gang. I know recently it happened to Texas Hill, a great member of this channel, a good friend of mine, and many of you out there. We gotta be careful. Sometimes people see our sickening Nitros on the road and they just wanna wish that they can get close to them. Unfortunately, they lack the brain cells to understand to stay away from the Nitro gang, or else you're going to get beat up. In case you thought I was joking about the Lincoln LSV8, guys, I don't joke about cars or Nitros. Like, this thing actually is right here. Check that out, you know. So let's go over to the old Smartech and take a look at it without my face in the video. The 1/10 scale shaft drive Nitro touring car. It is an original single speed setup. There were some variations and models that did come with the factory 2-speed, but I'm kind of happy this is just a single speed. There is much less to go wrong. A very interesting servo mounting location, mounted super low in the chassis, but also a little bit close here to the side. Really not the end of the world, because like these are not even the original tires. These are like Amazon Rally wheels. They look good, but we will see how well they actually drive. Probably real bad. This thing really is a no frills Nitro, but I'm gonna tell you something, guys. We have insane, awesome compression on this .15 SMT engine. You cannot kill the compression. And on this channel, I think we're happy just to have compression. You know, we don't ask for much, although I do ask for a couple new channel members every once in a while, you know. YouTube's trying to kill the notifications, stuff's going on, but we're not here to cry about me. We're here to discuss this great Nitro. I do love the built-in primer we have. The fuel tank is also very good. I've had a couple of these Smartech fuel tanks over the years and not a single one has failed. Before I really talk more about this, I just want to mention it is highly possible that this model was also sold under a couple other variations around the world. Here in the USA, we had the brand known as Smartech. The worst thing, guys, get ready for the worst thing possible. It is the suspension. This thing has the firmest shock springs I have ever seen. The ride height, as it is right here on top of the Lincoln's roof, is kind of tall actually. This is taller than like an average Arma in my opinion. But the springs are super tight. It is, I don't even know how it's gonna drive like that. In the front, we have even firmer springs. It's ridiculous, guys. I'm actually applying a lot of pressure to it right now, and it's well, it's firm. needless to say, we're not gonna have a lot of suspension travel or dampening. Now this model has really flexible body posts and a nice built-in foam bumper. Very common to pretty much how all Vortex, how all HPIs were during the time period. Let's take a look at the bottom of the chassis. It's fairly clean for an old model like this. We have very good access here to the flywheel in case you want to use a starter box. Overall, I think Smartech tried to be a little clever. Good amount of cutouts, but you know, it's no Trinity, it's no Serpent, but it's a Nitro, and I think we're happy about that. We do have pivot ball suspension in the rear and a regular tie rod there in the top. Now in the front, we do have a full pivot ball suspension, just like the t-maxx. There were models that came with a more generic C-hub, but that's okay. Check that out. Yes, these are dog bones and they are metal drive shafts. We do have a nice composite fiber disc in the middle for brakes. The linkage is very, very common to any Nitro RS43 setup. The servo is mounted just like how it would be in a Nitro RS43. This is a modern Traxxas 2055 servo. The stock one was completely dead, but I have managed to retain the original steering servo, so don't expect greatness from steering. In fact, it is probably going to be very, very squirrely. I notice I am also missing one of these little bushings here for the top suspension arm, so it tends to move around like a little bit like that. And if you notice on the one next to it, I do have this little plastic washer. I could remove it and just stick on really any washer, but it's fine. The bad part is it might do a little bit of a jiggle while driving. The linkage itself could be a little bit better centered. I am relatively easily able to move the wheel like this. But other than that, guys, there's really not much to talk about unless you want to ask me about that air filter. This is how air filters were long ago. Just a giant piece of foam sticking out. Boom, there you go. Goes directly onto the carb. We have ourselves a rotary carburetor. And really kind of no frills. Radio box, the same as the Nitro RS43 series. Unfortunately, this does not easily lift like it does on the RS43. There are a bunch of screws here. The upper deck is connected to the radio box. But other than that, I mean, you can see an influence of the Nitro RS43 in this chassis. They were around the same time, but this one was substantially cheaper. Also substantially worse. But you know what? It's a vintage Nitro. I'm happy to own it. Engine-wise, it's got what's known as a low-profile cooling head. What that means is not very good cooling, but it's enough. We do have a new glow plug in there, so I'm going to give this thing the best chance at having a normal run. I want to point out, this carburetor is a proper 2-needle carb. You could see the low-speed needle adjustment right there in the carburetor, and the high speed is over here on this side. This is a huge thumbs up to this brand back then, because Nitro RS43 only had a single needle carburetor on the 15FE engine. So this is proper 2-needle carb gang over here, guys. I mean, there's some good, there's some bad. Let's do a quick electronics check out everything to hope it works. We have steering, the world's slowest steering, guys. This is it. Meet the world's slowest steering. It's also super noisy. Wow, terrible. But the throttle servo is brand new. It works. The brakes are phenomenal. I could easily drag this and the wheels are locked up. We do have four-wheel drive. There's only one thing left to do. Put some fuel, do the prime, and do the pull. As far as I know, these are the original clear fuel lines. I have not replaced the fuel lines. I do notice the fuel line going into the carb, high-speed needle there, is really close to the flywheel. But you know what? If it survived this long, it'll survive another run. I'm not too worried. Let's prime it. Going to observe fuel right there. I could see a little bubble there. Okay. Well, the primer works. I did about 4 primes. I think there should be enough fuel in the system. We don't want to over prime it because, well, then we're gonna have a hard time firing it up. Let's see how this goes. was a proper great start, guys. Hold on, the clutch feels engaged. Oh man, is the clutch dead? Let me see. I'm gonna press the brake. No, it's okay. We just have high throttle trim. Let me lower the throttle trim a little. All right, we're lowering it. Let's see if it idles normally. Wow. We got ourselves a proper idler. Guys, get one of these FlySky GT5 radios. Get a vintage Nitro. And don't complain about high taxes. Oh, that's what I do. Look at that idle. It's fairly normal to have the wheels move a little bit. Hold on. Why isn't that wheel moving and this one moving? We got a little bit of a mystery. Whoa, this idle, my dudes, it legit cannot be killed. What is wrong with that wheel? We might have a problem. Let me test it out. I'm going to apply some throttle. Hold on. I'm going to apply some throttle, see if it moves. We might have a wheel situation. I don't know, it seems like it's moving. I think it's ready for a little test run. Guys, this thing is running beautiful. Honestly, the idle is incredible. The cooling head, it's barely even hot. You know what? I might even richen it a little. Wow. That is what you call the idle king. The camera's on the car. Shut it down a little bit there before. We're gonna do a little bit of a onboard video run. Let's hope nothing bad happens, guys. I'm not gonna be going too crazy fast. I have to figure out, I think something's going on here with the front tire, so it might be going a little sideways, but we got no rain outside, we got no snow outside, we got the Nitro Gang grapes growing right there in the background, and we got no neighbors outside trying to, well, I don't know what they're trying to do, but they're not outside, okay? So let's fire this up, hit the road, you know? Hit the road, Jack, like they say. Ain't coming back no more, because Jack hit the road. What show was that? Not Married with Children. Oh, was that Married with Children? I think it was, okay.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. Oh, what you say?
Shut it down for a little while. I think I've discovered actually another problem. Let's go back to home base. Man, that was the squirreliest test drive I have ever had. So The facts are in, these tires suck. They suck a lot. Don't buy them. I'm not even going to give you a link to these tires. You hear the dogs barking? The dogs hate these tires. Let's go over what's wrong, and then I'll try to do a little more of a test drive, maybe with the camera off the car. We'll see how bad it is. First issue, when I went to put my finger here to shut it down, I noticed a lot of oil and bubbles coming out here from where the seam of this pipe is. So clearly our pipe is not the best, but you know, it seems to still run okay when driving normally. But when you try to shut it down with your finger here, which is not the best way is actually to plug the fuel line. But this fuel line is so close to all of these hot parts, it's not very easy. I also noticed I had a huge amount of rear tire wobble. Let's check out what happened to the rear wheel. In the front, we already know steering is like not very good, but like, yeah, this is really weird. Let's see. The left tire has a normal amount of wobble. There's nothing wrong with it. But the rear right tire, the hell is that? Let me see. The wheel nut looks tight. Uh-oh. I think I see a crack right there in the center of the rim. eBay tires, why are you trying to kill my Nitro ride? Let's see. Well, that is not supposed to happen, guys. You are not supposed to have your tire coming off with the wheel nut still attached. Weird. Maybe it's my fault. You know, people are always quick to blame the tires, the car. I think this is partially my fault, in conjunction with the world's cheapest plastic from Amazon here. Like I said, don't buy these wheels and tires. I might have used a very small lock nut over here, although honestly I use these wheel nuts on like literally everything 10 scale, and I've never had a problem with like HPI wheels ever breaking. Well guys, I don't even think we could do another run right now. Oh, that's just my low voltage alarm on the FlySky GT5. You hear that beep? If you forget to turn it off, it'll remind you. It'll tell you, bro, turn me off. Save the batteries. You know, people want to save the whales. I want to save the whales too, but I also want to save the batteries. There we go. So let's talk about results. Engine is good. This not good. This real bad. Gonna have to find new wheels. These rally wheels, honestly, they're like really gimmicky. You're not gonna win any rally championships with these kind of tires. They look like they'd be good, but they are not very good. Well guys, once I get new tires and wheels, I'm hoping to do a little bit more of a run with this old rare Nitro. You know, not everything on YouTube channels these days has to be new. Almost every other bigger YouTuber, it's just basically new things. I am one of the few larger channels left around that still does videos on old stuff. The reality is there's no YouTube growth with vintage Nitro like this, but I really appreciate you guys out there, my channel members, you know, my like 8.5 Patreon supporters that I have now. If you would consider becoming a channel member, that would really mean a lot to me. Maybe I'll be able to buy like one tire at the end of this video with the proceeds I make from the revenue. You know, it's not much. You saw my Lincoln, it's a 2004. Okay, it's a gas guzzler. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Stay positive, stay true to yourself, stay real in the Nitro game. And see you in the next one, guys. I'm gonna go repair something else because, well, Saturday night, I'm already married. I got Nitros to repair. Peace out. Nitro World Order.
Nitro World Order.